There's something about reconnecting to the earth and to the nature. That high pressure, high noise existence we've got at the moment. And even if you don't think it's a problem, sometimes it is. We're constantly distracted, we're constantly being bombarded with information. Just be able to hit the off switch and go somewhere where actually you can let your mind actually process. I think everyone needs that.
Hello and welcome to this week's Wild Edge Works podcast. I'm out here for a walk with my co-founder and husband, Anthony Ackers. We're having a little walk down by the River Aire. I don't know if you can hear the water rushing. It's still pretty high, but we are pleased to report that the sun is absolutely beaming down. We can hear the birds singing, the daffodils are out, the blossoms starting to appear on the trees. And do you know, Anne, I think spring might be on its way. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm really pleased the weather's improved.
Oh,
you know, we've been working all through the winter and taking people out in the winter, and you do get a very different sense and satisfaction from being out in those winter conditions. You know, we do get quite a lot of people who enjoy it, but it's amazing how much the mood lifts when the sun comes out.
Yeah, and it's just the perfect metaphor, isn't it? You know, I know a lot of people, us included, who have been toiling away throughout the winter, who have been having to call on all their stores of resilience and self-belief and keeping the faith and all that good stuff. And then finally, those, oh, there's a squirrel, those green shoots start to appear. And it's like, yes, those seeds I have been planting over the winter, they are bearing fruit. So what are we talking about today, Ant?
We're talking a lot about why we believe what we're doing now is probably more important than ever. I mean, I think it's always been important, but you know, it's in the way that the world's accelerating at the moment. It just seems like finding that time and space to allow your mind to recharge, reflect, and reset is going to be essential for being able to cope with the demands of society.
Yeah, it's a lot out there at the moment, isn't it? You know, you just need to turn on the news and then maybe turn it off again very quickly. It's paralysing, I think, for a lot of people. They think, oh my gosh, who am I to even bother with a business in the face of such global, gosh, I don't even know what the word is, but it is a lot out there, and there's a lot of fear and there's a lot of uncertainty, like there has been for, well, it's March 2026 at the moment, isn't it? We're bang on 6 years since the pandemic, and us business owners, it's not been easy, you know. It's just not been easy, and I guess I want to start by saying let's take our hats off to the people who are still doing it, who are still building that dream. But I do think you're absolutely spot on with the world as it is on a global scale, but also everything that's going on in the conversation around AI and how that's changing the economy. What we are building here at Wild Edge Works is so important, more now than ever.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everything's speeding up rapidly. You know, the way AI is sort of like increasing productivity. And it feels like we should be using this to outsource and do less work, but I think it's creating more work in a way. You know, I think in the old world, I'm from like a project background and working in sprints, and we'd have a meeting about priorities and we'd say, okay, what we're going to work on this time, what are our features? Let's prioritize them, let's send them out there. And then we send the developers out, and then 2 weeks later, they come back with a bit of software. And then we review it again, we make decisions again on what to do next. But now we're in a world where AI is taking the minutes, it's creating the priorities, and it's building the software in minutes, and then we're having to reprioritize again. That's creating a massive mental load on people. You know, we're turning into a set of AI managers, I'd say, and it's creating a massive burden on our thinking because we're constantly on the go.
Yeah, it kind of underpins everything that we've been talking about for years, which is self first, strategy second. And with the way that we now work, incorporating AI into the business, and I'm a huge fan of AI. You know, we're building this business with an AI board. It is incredible with this third business how quickly things are amplifying and accelerating. But we are incorporating it consciously, creatively, with a human first approach. And you're absolutely right. At the touch of a button, we could get a amazing business development strategy for the business. But, and I think a lot of people will resonate with this, if that strategy is even off by even 1 degree, it's absolutely useless. And so it's so important to create the conditions to get yourself right first, to get your identity right first, to get your vision right first before you touch the computer at all. And that's the whole essence of what we're doing, isn't it? Is giving leaders time and space to get themselves right so they can go out there and be the leaders that their business needs them to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the way the mind works, it needs those moments of reflection and time to process things slowly sometimes, which the modern world's not giving us anymore.
Yeah.
It's just decision after decision after decision. And you're absolutely right in that we need to take time to think about we need to think about the questions we want to ask first before we can sort of like ask something to get us the answers.
Yeah.
And then secondly, then it's sometimes you can go into such a rabbit hole of making decision after decision after decision that you just get lost in it, and you just every so often you just need to step back, lift yourself out of all that noise, and actually ask the question: what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
What does all this mean? And what do I do about it? And what do I do next? And I think the world's creating conditions where that time is being lost because we're having to just do. And I think what we have, it's not necessarily AI's here to stay. It's going to revolutionise the way we work. But I think if we're not careful, we're going to end up being people who just go from task to task to task, rather than process things and actually understand what we're doing. So that reflection time is not. It's no longer optional. It's necessary because we're not getting it anywhere else.
Yeah, and you and I have had many conversations about, we believe anybody really needs to come out with us to get clarity and insight. But I want to talk about who we're really excited about helping right now, which is those founders, those leaders of the business who are in the messy middle. Do you want to talk about who that is and how they might recognise themselves in what we're talking about?
I think it's anyone who feels like they built something that is outpacing them in a way. And again, we talk about the acceleration of the AI, but it's not just AI. It's business has been scaling for centuries, and it sometimes can grow very, very quickly. We work very, very well with people who feel that the business has got away from them a little bit. It's scaled a bit too fast, or it's grown a bit too fast, or their role within it has grown a bit too fast as well, and they're playing catch up. And we help them just to take a step back again, understand what's happened, and help them to grow so they get to that next level of what they're doing.
Yeah, we often describe it, don't we, as accidental CEOs. So the kind of CEOs who are maybe alpha, who are kind of rah, ego, I'm the best, check me out, they're probably not going to resonate with the way they're probably not going to resonate with the way that we do things. Where our approach has the most effect is with the people who are almost leaders by accident, the ones who've had a vision, or they've maybe set up as a contractor and then the business has taken off, or they didn't expect to be running a business, and yet they know they are here to impact the world. They've got a mission, they've got a purpose, they are heart-led, they're purpose-led, they're values-led, and they recognise there's a gap between how they are showing up as a leader and who their business needs them to be. That's my favourite person to work with. It's imposter syndrome at its heart. I don't know for people who are listening to this, if you know that I have been teaching on imposter syndrome for 20 years. I have helped thousands of people to date overcome, not even overcome their imposter syndrome, but turn that imposter syndrome into their superpower. I've written a book on it. It's called Why Imposter Syndrome is Killing Your Business. I will put it as a link in the show notes if anybody wants to download that and read it. But it's something that I feel hugely passionate about, this imposter syndrome, where values-led, impact-led, heart-led entrepreneurs, they are holding back and playing small and not shining their light as brightly as they were born to do, because they don't feel worthy, or they don't feel capable, or they feel like they're winging it in some way, or like someone's going to tap them on the shoulder and ask them what the heck they're doing trying to run a business. So that's who I'm really enjoying working with at the moment, and how what we do can have just a absolutely transformative effect.
Yeah, it's. I agree, and it's. I think sometimes people romanticize what we do. It's like someone goes out on the mountain and halfway up to get a big idea, and that's all we talk about the rest of the time. It's not. The big shifts happen slowly over the course of a couple of hours, over the course of a day, over the course of a few days, and seeing those happen is really exciting.
So, Ant, I think there might be some people who are listening to this who are like, well, yes, this is all resonating with me, but what the heck do you actually do? And I think sometimes people just assume that we go up and down mountains and that's it. So do you want to explain what it is that we actually do and offer at Wild Edge Works?
We're all about getting people out of the chaos they're in currently. We're not exclusively outdoors people, but a lot of the work we do is outdoors and in person, because I think that's where we have the most impact. Whether it's from transformational coaching sessions, whether it's a couple of hours walk and talk, we run a number of events as well, and retreats. And I think one of the ways I look at it is the more time we can spend sort of like disconnecting from the chaos you're in at the moment, the deeper we can go with some of the conversations and the chats that need to happen.
Yeah, I think that's really important to stress, because I think that's really important to stress because between us, we've got almost 40 years of business coaching and consulting and strategy and mindset expertise. And it's not like we've chucked that out the window and said, right, we're going to be outdoors, nature-led coaching, and that's it. I think what makes what we do really special is that we are blending that more traditional coaching approach with perfectly placed experiences that come at the perfect time, that allow that leader to reach their goals, to level up, to step into that next level identity. So absolutely, we have big days out up mountains. We have wild swimming experiences, but we also have more traditional coaching. We have fire walking in our wheelhouse. We have glass walking in our wheelhouse. We have all sorts of nervous system resets such as EFT. You know, we have got a pretty unique toolkit between us, and what we can do is blend all these things to help the people that we're working with at the perfect time to get where they need to go. And I think that is so unique, and it's so exciting, and it's working, isn't it? It's helping so many people. But I just think it's worth mentioning, because people sometimes, I think, assume that we go out for a nice walk just to get a change of scene. And that, yeah, absolutely, you get a change of scene, but there is so much more going on than just getting outside.
So I've got a confession on that, actually. I think when I started Mountain Boardroom, which was one of the two businesses this was built on, That's what it was. When I started it, there was an inkling that actually there's something in this that actually it might work. And I think the first few people I took out was based upon that. Let's just go out for a nice walk and see what happens. And I think the one thing I learned from that was obviously don't underestimate the experience that having a nice bit of quiet time actually does for you, because it's really powerful. But secondly, I think I started to observe the changes that were happening. It was almost like at the time I wasn't actually doing it intentionally, it was happening accidentally. And for me that wasn't enough. It never is enough. I need to understand, if we're doing this, so why is it important? And that's when I went back and did all the research, where I studied about the effects that walking in the outdoors can have on the mind. And this was in a time before AI, it was a time just before COVID. It was a lot different world now, but the same still applies.
Yeah.
And as I started to research it, I was like, oh, that's why it's happening. Oh, that's why that person makes a breakthrough there. Oh, that's why there's a certain cadence in the session when people sort of like they unload things and then it goes quiet and then the breakthroughs come. That's why it happens. And for me, it's not enough to have a walk and talk. It has to mean something.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to talk about people saying this is amazing, come out, and it just appeals to you at a basic level. But that for me, to actually do this intentionally and with integrity, I need to understand why it works, and I've done that, and it's quite breathtaking when you look at it.
It really is. I mean, I'll link in the show notes some of the research we've done around the physiological benefits and the nervous system benefits, but just a couple that I like to mention because these are my favourite benefits of them. The first one is that when you walk side by side with somebody, your nervous system syncs, and it's why, if you've got kids and you're driving, it's so much easier to have a conversation in the car, right? Because you're side by side. But having that nervous system in sync, just imagine if every client meeting or board meeting you went into, every difficult conversation you were facing into, you were starting from a place of being in sync. How cool is that? I mean, I think that's why it works for our marriage, but we'll talk about that on a different episode. So there's that bit.
There's the second bit on that as well, sorry.
Yeah.
Actually walking side by side, coaching 101, maintain eye contact with the person you're coaching? Absolutely not. I think it creates such a different set of conditions when you're walking side by side and you're not looking at the person.
Yeah.
Because it allows people to speak anonymously. In my old sort of consulting world, we had a term called a cardboard analyst, where someone came to you and said, I've got a question for you, and just talked to you for 10 minutes. And you didn't even say a word to them, and they went away saying, thanks for that, I appreciate it. And actually it's because people just they need to process what's on their mind, they need someone else there to actually listen.
Yeah.
But they don't actually want to talk to someone, they just want to unload. And I think that side by side, non-eye contact is what helps to do that in a non-confrontational way.
I think that's it. It's it's non-confrontational, but it's also non-performative. So when you're in a coaching session, especially an executive coaching session with CEOs, there's often a pressure to have the perfect answer.
Yes.
And actually walking side by side, especially if you may be going over a tricky bit, gives people the space to explore what they actually think, rather than what they feel like they should think, like they should have the answers. And we were talking about this the other day, weren't we? How one of the things we are so proud of is that our approach allows people to access a whole new level of creativity and inspiration that they didn't even know was there, or they kind of knew was there, but it was kind of bubbling around the edges, but they were so consumed by the day-to-day, the weeds, the noise, all the shit that you need to go through just to show up at work, that it just couldn't come through. And actually, the process and the framework and the approach that we have, especially, actually everything we do, gives that space for the inspiration to come through. And if you are a leader listening to this right now, I want you to hear that you have got an untapped well of brilliance inside you. Of course you have, because you are where you are, and what we can do is get it out of you, and that is really cool, and I'm really proud of that.
Yeah.
So that's just point number one I wanted to
make.
make.
It was. Sorry for interrupting you.
No, it's important. Point number two is the moments of awe. And this isn't celebrated enough, but it's really cool. So this is where we talk about you can't chat GPT your way up a mountain. I have worked with so many people who have struggled to get up the hills, or they've struggled to get into the water, but they've always got there. And I love that look of elation or joy or just bravery, of triumph on their face when they are standing at that top of the peak looking down at what they've just scaled, or they're standing in the waterfall just going, look at me, I feel invincible.
Is that look on your face when we got to the top of Helvellyn after trying to get to your 40th birthday?
No.
It was definitely elation.
No, we're not going down that route. It was not elation. It was relief I wasn't dead. However, let's not talk about that. Because the courage it takes to show up as a leader of a business is immense, day after day. And you need to know that you've got that well of resilience in you, that you've got that courage, that bravery that you can call upon when you need it. And when you have got that moment of awe locked into your identity, locked into your DNA at a cellular level, nobody can take that away from you, and you know you can trust yourself to figure out anything. And that is worth its weight in gold, right?
It is, yeah. And I see the whole you can't chat your chat GPT away up a mountain slightly. I see it as that way, but also the second point there as well, in that I think with ChatGPT, AI, we are finding shortcuts to get to the answers very, very quickly. And this is the whole slow thinking thing. Sometimes you can't just get there. You've got to arrive there slowly over time, and pick up the insights and the failures along the way to actually teach you how to do it properly.
I'm going to use the analogy I used earlier this week, which was absolutely the Eagles could have just taken Frodo to Mordor.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's something nice. I said that to someone yesterday, actually. I think that sums it up nicely. You know,
but he had to go on the journey.
It's a journey.
Yeah, it's a journey. It's absolutely a journey. You need to build that resilience, that muscle memory, and that deep knowledge that you can do it.
Yeah, and that journey applies to our sessions and our days and our retreats as well. That is itself the journey. That journey of transformation to get to that moment of awe happens during sessions. We deliberately give you the time and space to do that.
Yeah.
I don't think we apologise for that. We don't apologise for the fact that we need to be out for a day to do this, or for 5 days in a retreat, because that's what it takes to undertake that journey.
Yeah. Okay, so if you are listening to this and you are excited about what's possible for you, and you may be excited about what Ant or I walking by your side could do for you and your business, then some really practical stuff. The best way to get started is with a beacon session. So a beacon session is designed to be a short, sharp, nature intensive to get you unstuck. We come to you, so it fits into your working day, and we coach you through our beacon framework to get you moving again. And as part of the beacon session, you get a momentum and accountability session about a week afterwards to make sure that you are accountable and you are doing the things that you say you're going to do. And of course, during that session as well, we'll discuss how we could support you if you choose to go down that route. So I would suggest, if you're listening to this and you're feeling excited, just click the link wherever you're accessing this pod, and you can book a call with me or Ant. Or we are also opening up invitations for our 2026 retreats, the Rewilding Retreat. So I've been running the Rewilding Retreat for 4 years now. This year we have our 10th women's retreat, and we have a couple of spaces left for April, so you better be quick, and 1 space left for the September retreat. And very exciting news, Ant this November will also be offering the very first Rewilding men's retreat. A retreat is just the perfect way to level up with like-minded people in beautiful surroundings. The Rewilding is the perfect blend of luxury, of business and adventure. We'll put a link in the show notes to that as well, so you can check it out. Is there anything I've missed, Anne? Is there anything else that you'd want to mention?
No, no. Other than the big sessions are fantastic. And I've been doing them for years as a pathfinder sessions in the mountain boardroom, and they just it's amazing how much progress you can make in that 2 hours. Even without like the follow up afterwards. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the men's retreat as well. It's going to be a really valuable reset. I think 2026 for a lot of people is going to be a very busy year. Whether it's busy because you are scrambling to try and make things work, or whether it's busy because things are changing so fast, we're going to get to the end of November and we're going to feel exhausted. So I think it's a perfect time actually just to stop, decompress. And over 5 days, it's not just a case of actually let's get out for a little bit and reset a little bit. It's a proper, you change your pace of your life for a couple of days in that retreat. And slow everything down a little bit, which really helps you to get a bit of perspective on where you are.
I can't wait for you to do this. I think the world is crying out for a men's retreat like this. I'm really excited you're doing it, so well done. All that remains is for us to thank you for being here, for listening, and we'll see you very soon.
Cool, thank you everyone.